Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today I received the Legend of Zelda Game Watch, and I thought I'd share my thoughts with you as well as show an unboxing and a little peek inside of the device. But first, if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, consider subscribing. That's the best way to let me know you enjoy the content on this channel. Now let's get started. Okay, so here it is. It comes in a nice little slip cover. Got to cut away the plastic here, plastic sticker on both sides. And this slides out. So you can see, like they had in the Mario one, the slipcover kind of adds some graphics over the box. So after you pull this off, you've got the traditional Game & Watch look inside. So let's take a look inside the box here. So you've got your standard warnings and user's guide. Set this aside for a second. This seems to be a stand. Oh, cool. So the box can be turned into a stand. We'll take a look at that. So this flap kind of comes up, and then these, like they just pop in. Cool. So you take this out. You can set it on display if you want to put it on your shelf for people to see. That's kind of a nice touch. And here's a little closer look at the device. I will note that the back of it has 4 screws that are, again, tri-wing. That would be Nintendo to use tri-wings. And I believe on the side here there is USB cable. So that opens up at the top. Yep, and a short USB-C cable. Really short. I mean, probably a foot. And it is, again, a Nintendo branded cable. So I always like those. Okay, let's turn this on for the first time. Very cool. And the power button's on the side here along with the power cord. So it tells me to press the time button, so I guess it's wanting me to set the time. Oh, cool. So I guess if we hit game, you got your option here of which game you want to play. And they do have English or Japanese. So let's just hop in here real quick to original. And the screen is very bright, very easy to read, very easy to see. Sometimes when things shrink down, it may be difficult to see, but they've got a very nice display on here. So some of this text was translated differently later on in later versions of the ROM, specifically I think like the Wii version of this game. So I'd be curious to see how it matches up, to see which version of the ROM this is. Okay, so you can adjust the brightness and the volume. We'll reset here. I want to see what the Japanese one looks like. Oh! Immediately I noticed a difference. So if you can hear that, it sounds like they're using the Famicom disc version of this. Notice how the sound's different? This isn't the original cartridge ROM. You hear the sound difference here in the sword? Very cool. So let's try another one here. I'll just check out the Japanese version here. Let's compare that to the English. You hear the difference in the sound? I just want to kind of come here and take a look real quick at the Game & Watch. Okay. And then there's a timer. So you have an option of stages here. And start it. And you can reset the timer from that menu. Very cool. So if you want to set the time on here, there's a pause set. So once you're on the time screen, you just hit that, set the time, and then you can turn on auto off. So it can turn, I guess, the screen off like a sleep timer. Also, I'll show you here if this sound is annoying, just turn the volume down. Now, one little cool Easter egg I found on this, and I'm not sure how well this will show up in the lights, but on the back while you're playing, I don't know if you can see that, the Triforce glows. So I guess it's using maybe the light from the screen to light that up, but that's just a really cool Easter egg. So I want to take a quick look inside the device here, and I just want to point out in the back here, you can see the indent here where the plastic's thinner, and that's allowing the light to come through for the Triforce on the back. I'll also note that where all the buttons are, there's like these little round extensions that are, I guess, pushing up against the circuit board just to provide some extra support. And I guess that's a good design just to keep from there being any type of flexing in the board. So here's a look at what the board looks like. You can see the Triforce there at the bottom, and that does overlay with the screen so that when you turn the screen on, that light does come through there. So that is how they light that up in the back. Now moving to the top, you can see the battery here, the HAC006. This is the same battery that the Joy-Cons use. The speaker is mounted here on the right-hand side, which would be the left-hand side when you're playing the game. And it doesn't sound bad for the size of a device this is. Now I want to point out that this board is really close to the Mario Brothers one that they released last year. There's a few changes because there are some more buttons. I've noticed a few ICs were kind of turned, but overall it looks really close. In fact, the largest chip that you see on this board is the same one that's used in the Mario Brothers one. And this is like an integrated processor and flash memory. So it looks like they kept pretty much the same design as the Mario Brothers one, just with a few changes, again, to add more buttons, and what seems to be just a few changes in the trace design. And if you're not aware of this, most small electronics, especially cell phones, have this sticker in here to detect moisture damage, and that's just so that if you tried to get it repaired under warranty and the sticker here is turned pink, then they'll say, well, you have moisture damage and we're not covering it. So I kind of want to give you my final thoughts here, but before I go into that, I did a little research on ROM differences in the different versions of Zelda for both the Famicom and the NES. And one of the things that I found is that the music is unique to the Famicom disc version, and that the cartridge version used the same audio as the NES version. However, I couldn't quite figure out exactly which version this is. It doesn't seem to line up with the Wii version that was released in Japan, and it doesn't seem to line up with the Famicom Mini that came out in 2016. So a couple of notes on this. The Book of Magic is called Bible in the original one, and it's been changed back and forth, but the latest version in the Famicom Mini system has it back to Bible, so this doesn't match with that. Also, the start menu here has the text Push Start button and a copyright of 1986. I couldn't find any version that had that exact phrasing. The original 1986 Japanese release didn't have Push Start button. It had Japanese letters there. The re-release in 1993 had Push Start button, but it had a new copyright on it, and the title graphic at the top had a 1 at the end of it. And then the 2016 version has Press Any button. So I'm not exactly sure what version of the Japanese ROM this is. It may be a completely new one. But if you know which version it is, drop me a comment and let me know. I'd be real interested to find out. Now, my overall impression of this product is just great. I love this. I love the Mario Brothers one. I'm more of a Zelda fan than I am a Mario fan, so I guess I may be a bit biased as to liking this one more. The screen is really bright. The D-pad is really responsive feeling. It doesn't feel smushy. It doesn't feel over clicky. I like the additional buttons on here where you've got the actual select and start. And the placement of select and start is just perfect, right above B and A. Now granted, the original NES controller had it in the center, but this feels intuitive. The additional touch of having the Triforce glow on the backside is just really smart. I'm glad they did that. The sound is not perfect, but you can only get so good of a sound out of a small device like this. So let me know what you think. Have you played this? How do you like it? Have you found anything different in this version of the ROMs that are on here versus previous versions? I really didn't look much into the original NES ROM to see what may have changed in it. So if you noticed any difference, drop me a comment, let me know. I want to thank you for watching, and be good.